just to check that out, and I think we are ready here for the first 2 warm-ups on the first map of the evening, Jumping Snails by Ranik. The players will get in the warm-ups, and then we are ready to kick off officially the SNC 2024 today.
Yeah, I think this map in particular, so I guess through the warm-up, we can kind of go and try to cover the finesses of the format. Just
Yeah.
1 second for me I need to turn the game down a little.
Yeah, me too. A lot of cars.
So yeah, as it turns out, so again, the beginning platform section is for me the make and break segment on this map. I don't think the rest of the map is any secret to players, and the speed you carry from the platform beginning will stay with you for the entirety of the rest of the lap.
Yeah.
I think in particular that is going to be a big test of each individual player's skill. So as you can see, you have a straightforward jump down from the start-finish line into these initial turns, which you can really take with a variety of angles of attack. You can try to bank more speed. You can try to maybe go more aggressively, risk flying into the wall. And finally, the angle at which you make the jump and how much speed you are capable of retaining without risking going out and costing yourself 20 to 30 positions, that will be the make and break point of this particular map for all 72 players in attendance. That is a ridiculous number.
I don't recall that we ever saw this many players in a NASCAR tournament ever. 72, that is absolutely insane.
That is
so
positively fascinating.
Just like you said, like taking that risk and dropping down, because there are so many players, the risk of losing a lot of positions is of course there, and it will be chaotic. There will be a lot of stuff happening, but yeah, players doing the warm-up now, seeing
And I think
what is going on.
Yeah. As we go into the second warm-up, it is also worth noting to check the Mania records for this particular map. Power Rangers occupying 4 of the top 6 spots with Razorlight, Dopamine, Stake, and Blitzer. Razorlight holding Daddy 1 100 of a second ahead of Dopamine with a 1:35.8. I don't expect to see that kind of time in live rounds, but it is interesting to see that the top 1 to top 30 spread is 1.3 seconds, which I think is just really ridiculous that so many players can fit into that much of a span of time.
Yeah, very true.
Peony Orange with Truo and Mew in place 9 on the DJ could also returning to that tournament, putting that in 87 and dedicated
Oh, there are a lot of Deft. We cannot hear you anymore. There is a little bit of a lag, I think, so Mr. Robot there. Also, Deft's cam has frozen. And we do not hear him in the chat anymore. Oh, we do now.
But it does seem like there's a little bit of a lag on the connection. Maybe you can change the call server, but it doesn't really matter. What I was gonna say is that, DGF appearing with 2 players in the top 10 daddies, only 2 and 3/10 of a second respectively.
Yeah.
Behind Daddy 1 with Kush and Miraco, both incredibly skillful players that are mostly known for their full speed prowess, but now returning to NASCAR, setting some very impressive times. In the lead up to the event, the final warm-up is ending, and we are ready to start the grand return of the SNC.
There we go. SNC ready to kick off here with indeed 72 players, everyone getting ready, doing their last checks, and yeah, finishing the second warm-up here to kick things off. Will be very interesting to see the chaoticness, I think, of this event unfold in yeah, just about a minute here. Really looking forward to that. As we see Dopa.
I'm very, very surprised to see that in the Daddy records there is a conspicuous absence of players from Team Storm Chasers. Only Devil in the top 4, and then nobody up until top 17.
That's true.
Interesting to me, given the strength of that team. Maybe they've been hiding their records.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know,
who knows?
Very,
Could be. But Storm Chasers, we will take a look at them closely. Of course, Devil there as well.
Yeah, between Devil and Focus, I really think they're going to perform much better than it seems at first glance, which is why I'm so surprised, of course, not to see many records by them in the top. Maybe they've been hiding. I guess only time will tell. We're
Time will
starting round
tell.
number 1.
There we go. Round 1 kicked off. The SNC 2024 Day 1 is officially on the way. 72 players trying to finish as high as possible to capture these points for their respective teams. Remember, guys, only the top 3 finishers of every team will get points for their respective teams. So keep that in mind as we see the first crashes and bugs already coming in. With that first jump down, Plastorex, Dopa, Acrol, Razorlight, they will take the top 4 here. So let's stay in front here, see what's going on.
Yeah, Reagan Hertz with an early mistake as well will be dropping out for Team Power Rangers, but they do still have a solid presence, currently occupying the top 3 with Blitz, Dopamine, and Stiko. Only our Kroll currently interrupting their dominance. Devil, Focus, and Storm in the top 10, keeping up admirably. Not much of a surprise in the top 10 so far, looking to see what happens in middle of the field as we are approaching the end of lap number 1, or is it lap number 2? Hard to tell. I think it is lap number 2, so we will have 1 remaining to go. Devil takes the overall lead, followed very closely by Plastorex, aka Kez, and Dopamine. Spider in the mix. The top 10, 2/10 of a second splitting them.
Look at that Devil line. Devil going really high up the platform, taking more speed with him, trying to attack Plastorex's first position here. Cannot really do that. Focus here into the top 4 as well. Where's Dopa? Dopa a little bit further out, I think, as we will finish the round here. Plastorex driving a 1:36.42 to kick things off for Peony Blue. And that is it.
Yeah, the winning time of the round, only 6/10 below the fastest time driven on this map. Absolutely insane. Storm Chasers proving me wrong immediately. Devil in 3rd, Focus in 5th, Storm in 7th. And Raptor in 15th, so an incredibly strong team. FKX as well putting up Devil in 14th, Fast XZ in 16th. So honestly, we do see sort of what we expected at the top, but I don't think any of us expected that it would be this close. The top 10 separated only by 2/10 of a second. It is the smallest detail, a completely, inconsequential change in line, just the smallest amount of lower risk is enough to immediately lose about 10 points in 9 positions, which is the fascinating bit about these large events. With 72 players on the server, nothing is left to chance, and absolutely every detail combines for your overall result. Moving into round number 2, Dopamine off to a lead after lap 1, but Blitzer with an incredible finishing line will take the lead from him as they cross over into the second lap. Again, Power Rangers with Blitzer, Dopamine, and Stake at the top, but Shuro in hot pursuit. Kez not too far behind. Razorlight as well, doing an admirable job keeping up. Job for Peony Orange in 11th place currently. FT also starring. Dolan enters the top 10 about 3/10 of a second behind. Some bad mistakes by Tsunami and Nino, unfortunately, will put down the FKX tally. Fruits with Slimo in, I believe, the top 15, only half a second away. Blitzer leading into lap 3, putting down an admirable effort. Let's tune back into Storm, who's in 12th place, but 6/10 of a second behind. Much bigger leads this time.
Big mistake.
Devil with a significant mistake, and that's going to cost him upwards of 20 positions. Such a small mistake, he didn't even hard crash, didn't need to restart, but that's enough already to send that point tally tumbling down. Round number 2 comes to a close. 1:36.01. Only 1800ths of a second behind Deddy 1. Blitzen knocking on the door of a 1:35 with a Deddy 4.
Holy shit.
Insane level.
And that's only after 2 rounds. I was told that a 1:36 low race pace on this map would already have been insane. And we see Blitzer putting it down here. And Spider as well. Crazy stuff.
17th place is 1.2 seconds away. Slimo for Fruits with an incredible round, only 1 second behind in 14th place, putting down huge points. This is exactly what we discussed. Players taking advantage of Slip's inconsistency, putting the best they can. 1 second behind might mean a lot in an individual match, but here it is enough for an amazing 14th place. Huge
Amazing.
points on the board for Fruit with a performance like that. They're going to need more of that if they want to qualify high. As we see Storm now falling slightly further behind from the beginning. He maintains a respectable middle of the pack position, but as you can see, only a couple of tenths of a second are already enough to condemn you to the middle of the pack and you having to fight your way back, surrounded by players that you might not think are on your level at first glance. Casper in the lead, headed into lap 2.
Let's go. There is the boy Casper putting it down here together with Lucky Shot, and now Blitz is gonna make the attack out of that jump down from the platform. Gonna take this sequence of turns here. Casper again battling for first place together with Kush. We see there as well. Blitz
And
is there.
Team Space NASCAR Cowboys with Andrew, Vamos Tikara, and Engel putting up some respectable positions in the middle of the pack. They're gonna put in a respectable haul point. Storm with an uncharacteristic mistake. He's going to crash into the wall and tumble down the order. Lucky Shot keeping up with the top. Kush now taking the overall lead. Look at that high line. He has so much speed. He's going to go into the overall lead heading into the end of this lap. Can Dopamine catch up to Kush, or is that going to be an impeccable round win for DGF of all teams? Dopamine still a tenth of a second behind. Kush maintaining his lead. Only one corner left to clear, and his line is impeccable. Kush with a round win.
Oh, amazing. Very, very nice to see. That last turn was perfect.
Fourth. Oh my god, DGF. Goro in 6th place.
That's amazing.
Showing that amazing pace he can have. Aircroll and Kez holding down the fort for PNE Blue with some very respectable finishes, 5th and 8th respectively. Focus in 7th place. Keeping up very well with Devil, slotting in as that reliable second carry. Avi and Casper, 14th and 15th. FKX, huge haul of points for them at the start of this one.
Really, really doing well. And it's very nice to see a bit of a scrambled leaderboard every single round. Because up until this point, there has not been one player who is winning all the rounds, but it's different players putting their name up on the leaderboard there.
And I want to shout this out, the consistency. Focus is currently the highest scoring member of Team Storm Chasers with 273 points, sharing 4th place overall with Kush. Only 1 point behind Spider and only 11 points behind the overall lead. Goro, 13th place with a very respectable 248 points, also showing flashes of his brilliance, dating all the way back to his time and energy. But now Dopamine, he wants to put all of this stuff to rest. He wants to take first place overall. He's leading into lap number 2.
Yeah, going into it, we see Akrol, Blitz, Dolan there actually as well for FT. Trying to keep up with that. Nice high line by Devil, taking so much speed with him, attacking into the top 5 here, which is Dopa still leading. Blitzer right behind, but will it be enough? Let's see if Blitzer can make a push here in the end. I don't think so.
Rocco slightly falling behind, unfortunately didn't take the neatest line, and that's going to cost him quite a bit of positions.
Yeah.
Fast XD also making a small mistake. Now the FKX boys are slightly falling behind the very top, but still very commendable performances from most of them. Tuning it to the front of the pack. Focus again, holding the fort immediately next to Devil. Fighting off Team Power Rangers. Dolan with a very respectable place as well now, overtaking Kez and Spider, trying to put huge points on the board for FT. And look at the exit of the turn for Dolan. He just needs one more turn to get a huge finish.
Nice. Very, very nice. Top 6 for him. And look at that Dopa, 135.90, just like that.
The first 135, and that would have been the 3rd best time. That would have been an easy Deddy free. Only Razorlight and Dopamine putting up 135s, and Dopamine joins that with yet another one. Focus in 5th place, Devil in 2nd place, Raptor, the next player for Storm Chasers, in 17 fits. Devil and Focus really holding down the fort.
Yeah, they are doing quite well for themselves there.
And again, big shoutouts to FKX, Avi, Kanzika, all of them with very good positions from 10th to 15th. Yeah, they are going to have a surprisingly strong result.
Yeah, I think so as well. Goro in 13th overall, Casper in 14th. They are really putting some points on the board here as we are into the next round already.
Yeah, and looking, now we are at the halfway point. Dopamine takes the overall lead in terms of points, but the rest of Power Rangers only in 6th and 7th place currently, so PNE mounting some resistance now. I don't think they have enough players at the top to actually work it out. Storm Chasers with a respectable performance. Focus again, leading in points for his team, 2nd overall. Needs to be shouted out. This is exactly the kind of story that I was waiting for. A player that shines when the pressure is on, that delivers the highest pace he's delivered so far at a remarkable level of consistency.
And together with his teammate Devil, who is again taking a different line in the jump down there from the platform. We see him carry through a lot of speed now into place number 2, just behind Spider. What a turn by Devil. Look at the speed that he got into lap number 3 there, battling with Spider for first position.
You see Goro taking a more aggressive line there, but it didn't pay off for him. Still, he is keeping up admirably. And we see for Team FT, 257er, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name correctly, but he is currently in 4th place, putting up incredible speed. And you see Kush again contending with the very top, but it is Spider that has the lead of this round heading into the final corners. What kind of time is he going to put down? Looking forward to see. Dopamine falls back, Spider charges into a convincing round victory with a 1:36.1. That is an amazing time.
Very nice. Kush into the top 3 as well. And FT 257er, like you said, with a bit weird name, but whatever, is gonna finish in the top 4 there. Very,
Goro
very nice
again.
finish.
Goro again, sneaking into that 6th place. Devil for FKX in 8th place. Dopamine only 11th. Miraco 12th behind him. KWS 14th. Extram in 16th. You see these names putting up some very respectable points for their respective teams.
Yeah, very, very nice. Let's jump into the next round because I actually don't know how many rounds are still left.
We are starting round 6.
Round 6, nice. Deft is doing the counting here. Nice. All right, so round 6. After this one, only 2 more to go. We do 8 rounds on every single map, and the players are into round 6 already, with Devil taking that different line here again, trying to push himself into the top 3.
And yeah, looking at the performances slightly down the board, I think I'm very surprised to see Mew very low, currently occupying 48th place on points.
Wow. That's low.
Reagan Hurts in 41st place behind players like Andrew Para, people who are legends of the game in their own right, but that you wouldn't think are capable of that sort of level. In an individual match, you would always bet on these players, but currently they are significantly underperforming as Mew this time from a top 5 position again takes an aggressive line. He will be crashing out, not putting up a good points tally for PNE Orange. Again, this is the risk-reward balance playing out, but not to Mew's favor. 257er for FT, again breaking into the top 10 to secure huge points. Goro in 7th. It's these players that we want to see raising their level at the highest stage of all. Devil, Spider, and Dopamine. Nothing to separate these 3 players at the end of the round. Who will get the best line? Dopamine taking a bit of a release, but he doesn't have the extra speed to compensate it. His Devil and Spider are headed into the final turn, but Spider has to release and Devil will win.
Nice. Devil with the full speed there. Spider with a mini release, I think, in the turn there. Taking the win. Devil, that was
Dopamine
super
still
close
finishes behind Spider despite that minuscule release. Dopamine did not have the speed banked for that particular turn. Miraco 11th, FKX Devil in 10th place.
Nice.
Focus and Storm for Storm Chasers rounding out the top 10. Job in 17th. Team NRT are 52. Not sure how to read that. 15th place. Huge points on the board for his team.
He's doing very well there actually. Taking some.
And this is the exact thing I wanted to see. Like, you see these one-off hero performances from these players. They are going to mean a lot down the road. I can absolutely assure you of this. Rounds mode is where you can benefit the most, where you can take the most of these surprise points and take a real advantage for your team heading into the following events. Because in Time Attack, in Endurance, right, some of these players just do not have the consistency or the raw pace. This is more where the skillful players come and collect their dues, but in rounds, it's anyone's game. Yep. The balance at play better than ever. Job was leading into lap number 1, but now Devil takes the lead, and very importantly, he is currently riding at Daddy 1 pace. Again, his patented high line, but he had to release there. That wasn't the line he wanted to take in immediately. 7 positions lost in the blink of an eye. This is how easy this map is to mess up. How very easily you can fall behind the mythical 135, which is why it's even more impressive that we've seen a 136.0, a 135.9. To do this in race conditions is ridiculous consistency. Devil now sliding out. he will unfortunately have to be relegated to about 10th place in this round in a span of 2 laps. Very small mistakes, minuscule, but they add up.
Plastorex is also on that 35 time. Let's see if he can put it down here. Leading 1/10 in front of Dopa. Let's see if Plastorex can
pushes consistency again. Look at this, taking sole possession of 2nd place, and that's where he's going to finish the round. Plastorex, incredible. 1:36.06, the Dedi record.
This is insane. The amount of Dedis and stuff that we see here already in the top of the leaderboard is absolutely crazy. And
but again, even though Devil gave up about 10 positions, look at this. Focus in 4th, Storm in 5th. This team has incredible consistency in its lineup. You might remember, obviously, Storm, a player that literally made it to the grand finals of the 2022 PTC, beating players that we didn't think is possible, setting a complete new benchmark for consistency. Unfortunately, severely bitten by Dopamine in that grand final, but a player that you can't forget about. This is exactly the type of mode where he thrives, and he proves that he's currently occupying 10th place. In terms of overall points. I want to shout out FastXZ for FKX in 14th place by points. Dolan for FT, 557 points in 15th place. Very, very good. Goro sneaking all the way up to 8th place. Huge points on the board for these respective teams.
Yeah, for FKX, that's very, very nice. It's really nice to see Goro here. Now he made a big mistake. I think he dropped a bit down. Let's see what is going on up front here with Dopa, Plasto, Razorlight now fighting for that top position. Not yet in the last lap. Anything still possible here.
And again, you see, 257 are on the outside of the top 10 again. So again, names that, to be completely honest, I've never heard of up until now, shining under the bright lights, taking the biggest advantage. This is the closest they'll ever get to these teams. This is where they can take the biggest advantage. And they are making good on that as we are approaching the end of the final round on this particular map as we're going to tally things together. Kez looking to finish it off, but Dopamine and Blitzer in hot pursuit. Can he seal this round and potentially overtake Dopamine? Oh no!
Oh no! Rip.
Caster Curse in full effect. He doesn't finish the round in 1st place. Blitzer will take it instead. Dopamine in 2nd. Spider in 3rd, Focus in 4th, and that's how we put an end to map number 1, I believe. This was the final round, and Razorlight, what is this? I think he finished 2nd to last. Dropping the ball in the final round, but I guess we'll see. So let's see the point tally after this particular map. Dopamine taking overall 1st with 750 points out of a possible 800.
Wow.
Absolute insanity. Focus in 3rd. That's what you want to see.
That's
727
really
points. That is the definition of a job well done. That's a player that knows what he had to do, and he delivered. Huge performance. Kush, 4th for his team. Truo in 7th place. Huge step up in consistency, almost beating Devil. Storm, Stako, slotting it to the end of the top 10. Razorlight in 13th. Miraku in 14th. Goro, unfortunately, tumbling down to 17th place. He will still finish ahead of Eric Kroll in 18th. Ekstrom in 21st. Kanzika and Casper in 22nd and 23rd. Good performances. Nico, formerly of UC, now playing for Fruits. 24th place for him. Vamos the Card, the famous mapper, finishing 1 position ahead of Lucky Shot in 26th. Lucky Shot only in 27th. Still a respectable job, but I think he knows he can do better than that. Job in 28th. And Slimo 31st, Regenhertz in 33rd, Engel in 35th, Mew in 40th place. Not exactly what these legends might have been expecting at the end of it all, but so far so good. I think
as well, 46th for him there.
Not their brightest showing, but not for everyone. Obviously, this map tested your platform knowledge, which is maybe not a traditional NASCAR skill. Some players will excel in this environment. Now we're headed to something completely different though, so let's see how they adapt.
Yeah, let's see. Quick switch here of style as well. Into the next map we go. One More Light by Blitza, I think. Very interesting map, and indeed very, very different of what we have seen now. So we'll take again 2 warm-ups and then 8 rounds on the next map and see how the players will perform there. Maybe some different names are gonna pop up the leaderboard on this map. Let's see how it goes here.
Yes, because I think that this plays very much into the traditional NASCAR player skill set. This map is... If you've played Blitzer maps before, this one should remind you of a former SNC entry. I don't recall the name, but some of the elements from this map immediately evoke the memory of most of these players. And I think that familiarity should also lead to some more consistency overall. Here, the top 30 Daddy spread only 1.1 seconds, even lower than it was on the previous map. Again, Power Rangers. Dominant with 4 players in the top 5 Daddies, only broken up by Devil. Dopamine with the outright track record with 125.79 at time of speaking, followed by PNE and KWS slotting in the top 10 Daddies. For this particular map, I think what is really being tested from the players is their ability to select the right line. This is a map where flow is integral, and if you take the wrong line through a particular corner, your flow will be interrupted, you will lose the speed, and you will not have a chance to regain it in any significant way. This is a test of your ability to navigate banked corners on all sorts of formations. You have the classic 270, you have 180s with drift releases. You have these 180 turns where you want to completely stop your drift in order to take them at full speed. You have 270 elements where you are trying to figure out the correct exit line and risking perhaps crashing with the inner Rammstein in order to take the optimal line through the turn. Yep. You have the narrow left-hander 180 where you're trying to preserve your speed in a corner that doesn't normally allow it, releasing only the minimum needed to take the corner without crashing into the outside wall. A complete mixture of everything, a full test of skill.
Yeah, very well described. I think this map has it all, and it will be super interesting to see different lines, different techniques used by all the players. 75 players right now, and yeah, it's interesting to see different stuff on this map. So let's see if we get to see somebody beat the 1:25 mark. What do you think? Maybe possible here in race pace. We've seen something in the last map, so why not?
I think it is actually entirely possible, because in this particular map, why have I been brought out as a spectator? Okay, once we've solved that little issue, on this map it is entirely possible, because I feel like if anything is going to stop the players, it's not going to be the safe lines they're taking, it's just going to be the Rammsteins. Yep. Unfortunately, on this map, you are asked to risk approaching the outside line of the turn. You're also asked to take the inside line on certain occasions, and you are risking contact with the Rammstein. As you well know, that can result in bugs. You are really playing edge to edge, taking the most out of the available track surface. This is a skill that NASCAR players are tested on in these maps, which have slightly lower speed turns, with these banked 180s, where you just cannot preserve all your speed. You will have to release. How much? Well, that's a question for you to answer. And again, because there are 75 players right now, or 72 as it is, losing that flow in a map where you cannot easily regain speed, that can cost you upwards of half a second.
Yep.
So, again, calculated risks, but this time you are really being asked, can you make the most of the available surface of the map? Can you turn in at the right angle to make these 180s? Can you turn the car enough to lose the minimum amount of speed? You see now between Dopamine and Mew, the slight difference, but there is a difference in speed when they exit, and that's gonna add up over 2 laps.
Very interesting to see how that will go. Maybe a little bit of the NASCAR exam here to do for the players. So
yeah, we are now out of a map where the platform element can be interpreted in 5 to 6 different ways.
Exactly.
And where you can maybe come up with a different strategy. There is no different strategy here. Everybody knows how these corners need to be taken, but will you have the precision to do it? Now that's a different question, and we are about to see that. We are starting One More Light by Blitzer right now.
There we go. Map number 2 on the way for another 8 rounds. A lot of points up for grabs for all the players. And here they go. Lights out and away. 74 players competing on this map, as Dopa is the fastest immediately out of the start. There you go. Taking number 1 spot. Let's see how how he can hold that up. Here we see Job as well, Spider, Casper right behind
You
him.
already see the difference in line. Look at this. You think he took a clean line, but he actually took a slightly narrower angle, and immediately at the next checkpoint, he is a couple of hundreds behind. And that adds up. Again, look at this. The difference in line between Casper and Dopamine. Casper did take a slightly wider angle. He should have more speed, but because the next corner is a banked 180, Dopamine's narrower angle was correct, and Casper will lose a couple of hundreds. This is enough to decide several positions when the field is grouped up, but Casper doing an admirable job of keeping up. He will take third place heading into the lap number 2 as we are keeping up with the players already. Between first and 15th place there is half a second, just from the small differences in the angle they take for each particular corner, the small differences in when they choose to turn in. It is one of the finest things to watch in NASCAR. It's a reminder of how high the skill ceiling is in this particular game mode. Nico keeping up very well. Spider turning in way too wide. He's going to make a large mistake. Ekstrom also crashing with the wall in the aftermath of that turn, meaning PNE is about to lose some points. Lots of people for PR, but lots of people for FKX and FT as well, heading into the end of it all. And a 125 immediately. Dopamine says,
What the fuck? I was spectating him all the way. I mean, Dopa is putting 0.3 of a second here between him and Plastorix in place
the
number 2.
Dopamine says, screw your expectations, I am
Yeah.
the chosen one. And he puts up a time only done by 5 players. Dopamine, Stake, Devil, Racerlight, and Blitz are the only players that have put up a 125 on the Dedimania leaderboards. He does it in round number 1, just at a snap of his fingers, 1/10 behind the fastest run ever done. And the next person behind him, 0.3 of a second away.
Yeah, that's crazy. And still,
And
that
that
is a
person
very good
behind
time.
them, yeah, they didn't make any mistakes.
No.
But the difference in line, the difference in mastery, completely shown. This is where you see class.
Very, very
This
well
isn't
said.
the place for opportunism. You see also in the top players quite a bit of top names. You see Raptor now in 8th place, doing much better than on the previous map. You think to yourself, a player like him, formerly the star of a team like FRT, he knows what he needs to do here, and he knows how to put up an elite level round after round. Casper again in the lead. R52 for NRT in 7th place, only a 1/10 of a second behind
Easy.
the lead. This round is shaping up to become incredible. Devil takes the overall lead. Stako, KWS, Casper, and Hot Pursuit. 10 players, 14 players in 0.3 of a second.
Wow, KWS pushing here now, maybe a little bit of a gap between him and Acro, but there are Stiko, Goro now also pushing into that top spot. Look at that, top
Huge
3.
points potential for FKX. Huge points potential if Goro and Casper can secure these positions without losing a significant chunk of time. But look at this. Look at this. The banked 180. So much difference. Just a 10 extra speed that you will be able to preserve through the next corner. Enough to make a whole 1/10 of a second heading into another banked 180 where you have no choice but to preserve speed, not gain it.
Goro is gonna win the lap here, and it's FKX. Goro and Casper in place, what is that, 6? A lot of points for them on the board. Wow, very well done.
AWS on the podium as well, and Power Rangers with Stako and Racerlight in the top 8. But look at this, FKX.
Crazy.
And
Very,
that
very
team
nice.
is exactly that team with the remnants of NRG that I mentioned before. They are showing shades of their incredible potential.
Yep.
Mew finally avenging his previous result, 12th place on the round, very well done. Job in 13th, PNE Orange putting up some good points. And finally in 16th place again, I think it was Slimo for Team Fruits, putting up some of these amazing rounds together to get a lot of points for his team, but he does need to improve the consistency.
Yep. Very, very true. And of course, the one absent there in the last round was Dopamine. Let's see if he can snag back a little bit of those points here. Currently in 4th place and pushing with Racerlight and Miraco.
Yeah, and would you look at that? After Dopamine set a 125.9, he is in 28th place by points.
Yep.
Due to his mistake in the second round, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These rounds can make or break you completely. Mew took an aggressive line. He's going to lose a couple of 1/10 of a second, but he is competitive. He's putting the points that he needs on the board for his team. R52 for NRT again on the outside of the top 10. Devil only in 16th place, now improving to 12th, but 0.3 of a second behind. Tsunami with a severe mistake at the bottom of the field. Miraco and KWS holding down the fort for Team TGF. We have some retirements. 257 are not particularly happy, possibly running into these Ramstein bugs.
Yeah, I guess so. We see the chat coming out, but the lap goes through with Dopa in the lead here, just in front of Plasto. We see Casper pushing a little bit into the top 10 here, currently in 8th place.
Casper and Goro are really stepping up their performance on this map, and they need to continue doing that to try to secure that position at the top of Division 2. Dopamine with a 126 flat immediately, laying to rest any assumptions that he might not have elite level consistency on this map. Stiko in the top 3 Power Rangers with an imperious performance, but look at this. Devil, Storm, Raptor, and Focus not far away in 15th place. Storm Chasers with incredible consistency.
Very, very strong from them. Super performance.
Slimo in 14th again. Engel in 12th. Dolan in 11th. Some of these players again showing flashes of their individual brilliance. You remember these names from previous tournaments. You know what they're capable of. They're showing it again.
Very true. All players here showing what they can as we go into the next round. And yeah, it's very interesting to see different players stepping up the leaderboard. Always we see Casper make an early mistake, and goodbye goes that top classification for him in this round. We see Dopa pushing here with the Goro as well. I think
he also made a bit of a small mistake, which is going to put a damper on his performance so far. On this map, he has been good so far in 11th place, but I think he did make a wall touch there, which is going to slow him down significantly. Job holding down the fort for Peony Orange now along with Ekstrom. Still a very strong team, not at all to be underestimated. Especially as we head into the individual matches, but maybe their consistency will suffer. Stiko way too wide on the 180. He'll be touching the wall, he'll be out of the round. Razorlight inherits position number 1 in Hot Pursuit. Devil, Dopamine, Job, Goro again.
Goro.
But a lot of PNE members in the top 10 now. Job falling slightly behind. We might see some players getting lapped due to severe mistakes. This is the first I've seen it so far.
Yeah.
Or I guess they started a bit late. Either way, that's not a sight that you want to see if you're Team NRT.
Dopa gonna snack him. There we go.
And Goro has a very good line heading out of this. Can he possibly try to snipe a podium position? He has a lot of speed. If he can carry it through this 180, there might still be room for a late overtake. I don't think there is though, but he's going to secure 5th place on the round.
Wow. Very, very nice by Goro. And look at how close that is for the top 3. Blitz, Razorlight and Devil only in 100th of a second there.
Yeah, nothing to separate these players, and this is exactly the point with this map. Everybody that has played NASCAR for a long time, they know what they have to do. And for most of these players who are capable of elite performances, often these performances converge in very surprising ways. Reagan Hertz in 16th. It feels like it's the first time we've mentioned her name in a positive light, which is very uncharacteristic, of course, as you know, a very performant member of Team FUTS, one of the strongest players, I think, with a storied tournament history and several tournament wins to her name, but today maybe letting the rest of her teammates do the talking, maybe falling slightly behind as we head into round number 5. We are halfway through this map, and it is Goro in the overall lead on points. 367, one ahead of Kez. Razorlight filling the top 3. Storm Chasers with the 4th, 6th, 7th, and 9th place. Incredible consistency to rival even the best teams. I'm not even sure PNE Blue has this sort of consistency. Dopamine has rebounded by only to 8th place. Casper in 14th, Morocco in 12th, KWS in 13th. That's a lot of points for their respective teams on the board.
Yeah, very true. As we see Blitz take the lead here in front of KWS, and now Focus gonna push for the top 3 as well. Just right behind KWS here. And let's see who we got.
Nico and Slimo for Team Fruits, 21st and 22nd on points, right behind the trio of Job, Mew, and Ekstrom for PNE Orange. Doing very well for themselves. These points are going to be extremely valuable. Rounds, the best chance they have to upset these significant players and get huge point hauls.
Yeah, so they are doing well in the middle of the pack as well. As we jump forward, we see Devil, making an aggressive line here, trying to do something different, but losing a lot of speed. Razorlight is gonna win this round. I don't know exactly what Devil did there. Maybe a little bit of a mistake.
Lucky shot with a very respectable 5th place finish.
Well done.
Spider, Ekstrom, slotting into the top 10. Cushion 14th, Dolan 15th. Nino in 17th, doing having quite a decent showing for himself. KWS again, podium position.
He's super strong.
DGF player who has previously started for PNE Orange. Very, very well.
Very strong. Nice to see him team up with the DGF now as well, as we see Miraco in 17th in overall points. Well done for them. Razorlight now taking the top spot. Look at that, 460 points. So Goro falling down just a little bit to tie for second overall position with Plasto. Let's see what this round's bring then. Maybe a little bit of an upset to the leaderboard. Still possible here, as we are not done with 257er.
No.
Now taking the lead.
But he hasn't been as consistent on this map as he was on the previous one. These players are trying to extract pace by taking risky lines, which is a possibility, but you run a very significant risk. Goro took a bit too much of an inside line. And look at what happens. This is incredibly instructional for NASCAR players watching this. He takes a slightly too inside line, and look at this, he's already 12 positions behind. This line now a little bit better, but he didn't carry as much speed. A mistake he made 4 corners ago is cascading literally half a lap later, even though he hasn't made any significant mistakes since. This is what this map actually tests from you. Your ability to maintain impeccable flow from start to finish. Razorlight now falling significantly behind because of one missed line. Again, the speed, once you lose it, very difficult to regain unless other people make mistakes as well and deviate from that perfect line. Now the mapper Belitza leading, heading into the end of this particular round, but can he secure it? Does he have the speed? Dopamin managed to snipe him on the final turn. Dopamin with an aggressive line, but I don't think the aggressive line matters enough. He didn't have the lead. Track position matters a lot. That's a huge time.
That is really, really nice. We see as well Lucky Sean, top 6 with a PB there for himself, top 10 record, 126.27. Really
in
respectable
7th place. That is exactly what he needs to see to regain his confidence, because we're heading into a flat map. I don't know about you, but that's Muse hunting ground, and a player like him, he needs to get the confidence. He needs to be certain that he is dialed in, that he's making a minimum of mistakes while showing the pace he was known for years ago.
Yep, very true. Agreed. Next round here. So let's see if Mule can maybe grab some of that consistency. Dopamine, meanwhile, climbing up the leaderboard, now in place 5, but still hurted a bit by that one round where he was thrown
that one round is all you need, which is
Yeah.
fascinating. You have 8 rounds, and just making one mistake can cost you upwards of 50 points. With only 800 points to gain in total, that's a devastating blow. Raptor now bursting into the lead of this round, maintaining perfect lines throughout. But can he hold on to it? That is the question. Still manages to retain the lead heading into the start of the lap, holding 6th place overall. Raptor rolling back the years, but that was too wide, and he's not going to get any speed because of that wide line. This is paradoxical. In NASCAR, you normally think that a wide line allows you to retain more speed, but here you have to cut the corner short. You're not actually running up any additional speed by taking wide lines. This is an exercise in perfection, and unfortunately, that really small deviation is enough to send him back into 10th place. Now, Casper and Lucky Shot breaking into the top 10. Goro is already there. FKX Platinum looking for a huge haul of points if their 3 players can see this round through to the end without making any errors. Dopamine, KWS, and Kush holding down the fort for DGF. As impressive as ever. KWS has a very good line. He's just going to pass Kush in the end because of that slight improvement, and they finish 4th and 5th.
And FKX, like you said, Goro 8th place, Casper 9th place, Nino, I think FKX there as well in 14th place.
Nico for Fruits in 17th. Devil for Storm Chasers nowhere to be seen.
No, he got dropped down, I think, a bit. He was leading before this round, and now look what happened. Dopamine, after being absent for one round there, lost a lot of points, but he's back on the top of the leaderboard, battling with Goro now in what I think might be the last round on this map for the first position.
It is going to be the last round of the map, and here we are, looking to see what happens on this particular map. So Goro still in contention to take 1st overall. How amazing would that be?
That is
for
amazing.
To see one of their players step up and beat all of the greatest players in NASCAR to the 1st place on this map. Looking
Also
forward to see if he
Raptor.
can. He's currently doing very well for himself. He's actually only 0.03 of a second away, and he has a very good line heading into this corner, cutting it to just close enough to the exit. He is in 3rd place heading into the next lap. Very well done from Goro. If he can keep this pace up, nothing is out of the question yet. Dopamine is still ahead, but he's going to put in an incredible job for FKX Platinum. One of the star performances of the night from a player that is known to be fast, but isn't known to be so consistent. And a player that we haven't seen compete for such a long time as well.
Very, very true, and that's what makes this very interesting with all these different players competing tonight. We see names that we maybe did not see for a
He's
long
going to have
time.
to release a little bit extra. That's going to set him 1/10 of a second behind by the end of this corner. Dopamine will take first overall. There's no doubt about it, so let's just see what Goro can do. Now he tries to go a little bit more aggressively to pip Devil to the finish line. He won't succeed. He'll dial in a very respectable 7th place, as I think Razorlight snipes him in the same 100th of a second at the finish line. Dopamine with another incredible finish. Power Rangers, I think, asserting their dominance over the map. Storm Chasers, respectable, 10th and 11th for Storm and Focus. Corbo for FKX, 14th place. KWS Miraco, 13th and 15th. Vamos de Car, 17th. Very well done.
Nice. Well done. Let's take a look at the overall points after this map. So Dopa taking the top spot here, 729 points. Goro, wow, very well done, 718 points. Second place, Razorlight completes the top 3, 699 points. Who else do we see?
KWS in 5th is absolutely spectacular.
Very, very
Definitely
nice.
needs to be lauded. And now again, you see, Devil, Raptor rolling back the years. Focus, Storm. Storm Chasers might get a very surprising haul of points by the end. I think they are definitely out-rivaling Peony Orange in consistency. Whether they're beating Peony Blue, time will tell, but that might be on the cards as well. Job and Mew, 18th and 19th, nice improvement. Nico again, former UC driver, the legendary clan, 20th place again, doing very, very well. Lucky Shot in 24th, doing well, but I think he knows he can do more. Slimo, 26th place, again, Fruits, surprising middle of the pack haul. Team, I think, the Space NASCAR Cowboys, Engel, Andrew, Vamos de Car, very nicely done as well. In terms of surprisingly poor performances, again, Reagan hurts nowhere. 38th place.
That's far down, way too far, I think, for her. It's like you said, she has a proven track record in these tournaments, but today is not for
Maybe
her.
just a lack of training. Just a lack of training. It is very hard to guess what else it could be, considering the rest of Power Rangers is absolutely delivering to the level that you might expect them to.
Who else do we see? Maybe who we expected a little bit. I see Kanzika in place 35 here.
To be fair, I think Kanzika might not be on the level of, in terms of, full speed players making their debut. I think Kush and Miracle are just one step above.
That's
35th is still a little bit low. I think he has the skill in him to do a little bit more. But admittedly, a map like this, where you're being tested on NASCAR fundamentals developed for years, it's not that bad. I don't think they need to be judged too harshly for that.
That's very true. Very true. I'm just jumping down the leaderboard a bit, see what is going on in the lower sections. We see NRT here all together from like top 50 downwards. 257er, who we, I don't know who that is. Ashhuter, I see as his login name. I don't know him. Was not too happy, I think, about this map, but looking forward to see his performance on the next one as we take just a little break, 5 minutes, I think, on this map, and then we move on to the next one.
Yeah, a nice chance to rest our voice a little bit for what is to come, because the following 2 maps, oh boy, that's going to be a surprise.
I guess so as well. Yeah.
And the next one in particular, a Stiko flat map. Absolute classic. This is something I'm really looking forward to see.
This will be great. Nice, always nice to see flat maps, I think, here, as it requires, again, a different style of driving than we are used to
I also
in the first
think,
2 maps.
And in terms of players that I might have been expecting to do more for themselves, Tsunami, I think, definitely a player who has improved in consistency quite a bit in the BFNL. In other tournaments where he was actually surprisingly trading blows with basically everyone. But I don't think he has been very good so far. Nowhere to be found or seen. Thankfully, the rest of his team putting in some solid points means he won't be regretting that a little too much.
Interesting. We'll see what will happen here. Next map, indeed, a little bit of voice resting. That's nice. I had a
Definitely needed
throat
because
infection for some days, so I'm gonna just drink some water here, chill out for the next 45 seconds.
and yeah, hopefully everybody tuning into the broadcast right now is also enjoying the action. Hopefully we're able to present to you well enough just how amazing this is, just how close the level of performance is between the 70 players on the server right now, and you know, nothing compares to this, to these sorts of events. Training is nice, you know, getting a group of 10 clanmates on the train server is a wonderful thing, but 70 players on a server competing under extreme pressure. Diamonds are forged in the toughest situations, and this is the opportunity that they've been waiting for. I think some people are living up to that in incredible fashion.
Very true. Very true. It's just so good to see so many players in this tournament. I really, really enjoy it.
Likewise.
Really good
And
to
yeah,
see.
this map is where we're going to make and break the whole thing. This is a flat map from Stiko. That in itself means it's made very well, but this map in particular has so many unique elements that I'm going to try to cover as we spectate. Let's pick an elite player to stick with that is driving the warm-up. Let's see if maybe Spider is somebody we can stick to. He is not driving.
Razorlight is driving here.
Yeah, so in this particular map, I think one of the most fascinating things is that what is being tested here is your angle of attack for certain turns. Some of these turns need to be approached at angles which are a little bit weird. Just even 5 degrees that your car is turned in the wrong direction, you will not be able to take these corners at full speed because of the way this map is made. And again, this is a masterclass of mapping by Stiko. Absolute first-class flat mapping. If you, again, make the wrong decision in a turn, you're going to see the same effect you saw on the last map. You're going to consistently lose speed. You're not going to be able to make the optimal line for the following turn. And you can even turn in at the right time, but if your car isn't angled correctly, you're not going to be able to take the fullest speed. And chaining 2 laps with, very different angles of attack, with turns where you have to make double releases as well. You see these 180 combinations where you can't take full speed, where again you're trying to utilize the full width of the road without actually touching the Rammsteins. This is again a comprehensive test of flat map mastery and such a wonderful map for a qualifying event. Precisely to show what you're capable of, right? You are still capable of upsetting people, but this is a test of skill. This is a proper competitive map that is going to stand the test of time.
They're really nice to see the map pack unfold like this. Like you said all the way in the beginning, I think the map pack is super competitive and well built. And if this is what we will get throughout the event, then this is absolutely amazing, I think. So really good test. And let's see if the players can tackle the second NASCAR exam, maybe. A little bit of different style, but
yeah, I think in particular just how these combinations play. This is all completely intuitive stuff. I haven't played TMNF for a year leading up to this event, but in 30 minutes immediately, these lines are all intuitive. You know what you need to do, but do you have the skill to do it? Do you have the practice to do it? You would be surprised at how difficult it is. This is again, you know how to drive this, but do you know how to drive fast? The answer might surprise a lot of players as they are warming up in the second round, and you see already, even though everybody's driving, you think to yourself, well, aren't they driving the same line? But you see already 0.3 of a second between the person leading and the middle of the pack. If you make a flow mistake, if you have to make a small release to save yourself at any particular line, you've lost a couple of tenths. You're not making that back. This is a map about preserving speed, not about building it.
Yeah, that's very,
and that,
very
I think that is going to be the true test of skill. Doppelmine here has an incredible Daddy 1. I just want to point that out. 118.6. Daddy 4 is already 119.0. I just want to point that out. That is crazy. The amount of skill that you can put into this map, incredible. But do you have the guts to do it when consistency is on the line? You don't.
Mm.
It's one thing to do it on the train server, it's another thing to do it when everything is on the line.
Yeah.
When you're, a cash prize is also on the line. Every team that is looking around that top 4 spot, I don't know. I think that teams competing for that top 4 spot are going to want to take every point imaginable. They don't want to make any mistakes here because more than ever, everything is on the line.
Yeah, very true. Everything on the line in this map number 3 of the evening. Again, the warm-ups are over and we are into the total of 8 rounds that we will play on this map. First one just about to start, and let's see the 76 players in this server battling for all the imaginable points for their respective teams.
And here, players like Mute, players like Lucky Shot, players like Goal, they can again deliver huge points because they know how to play this. Consistency is their weak spot, but they know what lines they need to drive. And if they can muster up another great performance, this might be the thing that makes or breaks their team's positioning later down the line.
Yeah, that's what we saw in the last map as well, indeed.
Yeah,
so let's see.
This left-hander decides your speed for almost... This right-hander in particular. Just the timing is incredibly unforgiving. And now you have these two 180s. You're not going to be building any speed in these 180s. Whatever you carried into them, that's what you're taking out. Or at worst, you can lose a little bit of speed. So here, beginning of the lap, I want you to pay special attention to these corners. Starting with a 180 where, again, not a lot of speed to build, but all potential speed to lose. And here, incredibly narrow line required to meet the next corner at full speed. Look at the speed differences building up as a result of it. The next 180, completely self-explanatory. The next left-hander, just a matter of timing. And this right-hander, the angle of attack making all the difference. Again, building these small differences in speed that will decide your final position. And what you see in front of you right now is probably how the round is going to finish. And even though these players played a virtually mistakeless round, there is 0.4 of a second between positions 1 and 6. Wow. Kez takes it home in a 119 flat. That is a deady 4 time.
Holy moly. That's crazy. And only because he was already in the top 2 daddies together with only Dopamine in front of him there. 119 flat. 2 turns faster.
Goro in 9th, Mew in 12th, Dolan in 13th, Casper in 17th. Very well done. But look at this. 1 second, 17 positions. And of that, 6/10 is between the top 10.
Oh, that's crazy.
And all of these people played without a single mistake. This is why I'm saying this is a first-class flat map. The differences in skill immediately apparent. You make the tiniest of misjudgments. You just give yourself a few extra degrees because you're saying to yourself, I need to drive this safe. I'm not going to risk my position. And you're half a second behind.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Absolutely no mercy.
Amazing to see that. It's nice that a map can do something like that to the players, and we see only the creme de la creme.
Reagan Hertz is competitive here. I see her in the leading pack. But again, look at this. Small mistake in line, and suddenly she is already a little bit behind. And look at this, 180. There's not much of a difference in position. You cannot build speed in this type of corner. You can only lose it. Same for the final corner. Make a small misjudgment, you'll be losing a little bit of time. Again, in the leading segment of the first lap. This corner is critical. This left-hander. Go too wide. You're not making the next turn on time. And look at this. Casper falling behind. Mew, small mistake, falling behind. The gap just builds itself. It is a testament to the skill of the players that they're able to keep themselves so close.
Yeah, and Regenhurst that you mentioned before is now doing a little bit better, trying to keep up with what is the above middle of the pack, I think. With
Blitzen now falling
Dolan.
behind again. No significant mistake. He's gone. Look at this. Such a difference. Small packs forming themselves from people that made mistakes in the same corner. Spider, amazing time.
1902.
Does better than his personal best for a Daddy 5.
Wow. Just casually putting a Daddy on the board there, Spider.
And Dopamine, nice. 119.21 into a 119.19.
That's crazy.
This is what mastery of your craft looks like. Focus in 7th place. Avi in 8th. Shout out to Avi. That is an amazing time.
Yeah, really well done. 1956 race pace, very well done. Dolan also top 10. Regenhurst top 11 there. That is also something that we should pay attention to. Maybe Regenhurst finding
and the baseline level of competition is so high. How do you know this? You know this because the top 20 all put times which are Daddy 30 or above.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
The top 20 all put times which are Daddy 30 and above. This is complete insanity. Again, All of these players have such overwhelming skill. They already know what they need to do. But it's not easy to do that 8 rounds in a row. And everybody is going to pounce on you if you make a single mistake. Now, because this is a flat map, and because the baseline flat skill is a little bit different, I think there is a best tier of players here. You maybe see slightly bigger gaps to the back of the pack. Mew made a significant mistake. He's going to be out of the round. Now it is, I think, Devil leading from Dopamine and Stiko. Devil with a very good time approaching Daddy 1, but, you know, the hundreds of a second add up very quickly, and you see these small changes in position being affected from people who are maintaining flow. Look at this. Razorlight, just slightly off balance, but he's suddenly looking at a top 15 finish, top 20 possibly. It's incredible.
Incredible what a map can do here, as we see last couple turns for Dopa and Devil, who will take the win here in round number 3. I guess it will be Dopa here in the end. Let's see his time. 1:18.92 broken by Dopa, and Devil right behind with a 9:18.98. Crazy times there.
And the third player is 3.5 tenths of a second behind them.
Crazy. That is absolutely
And between 10th and 17th place, there is 13 hundredths of a second. This is flat mapping. This is what flat maps bring you. This is
nice.
NASCAR at its peak. This is something an individual match. Individual matches are amazing. We're going to go into them. They're going to be hype in their own way, but nothing compares to 70 people, all of which are incredible players in their own right, taking to the same field and burning some rubber.
Absolutely amazing. It's great. Flat map NASCAR. It's crazy stuff that we see here. Next round already on the way. And
yeah, unfortunately, not a lot of surprises in the point level. I think Goro continues an amazing evening by slotting into 10th place on points currently. Followed by Casper in 12th. This is his flat map prowess going and shining through. Devil for Team FKX in 15th place, doing very well. KWS in 17th, Raptor in 18th, Slimo 19th place. Very well done for himself. Regenhertz in 23rd. Looking for a bit more from her, but doing better for herself than it was the case before.
Also,
Hez in 34th and Mew in 33rd.
I'm surprised here as well by FKX Devil, who is fighting for a top 10 position here right now.
Very good round out of him.
On the leaderboard in total, yeah, he's doing very well.
Look at the loss of speed from Spider as well, right in front of him. That was just a small, look at this. And now that he is off balance, he can't take the 180 in the right way. He just slightly touched the outside curb and he's losing positions because of it.
And look
incredible
at
to see.
Crazy stuff.
He pulls it back with an incredible final corner, but think about what could have been. The smallest, tiniest of mistakes. Half a second between him and Dopamine.
Yeah, and again, Dopa Devil pushing for top 2. We see Casper again in that top 7. Very well done. Focus, 5th place. So good stuff from some players here. Focus now in 7th overall. He's performing
Lucky
well
shot
there.
with a 15th place finish. Miracle 17, 257er, 16th.
That's
Goro again, 11th
good.
place. Goro's consistency combined with his already known prodigal skill tonight in spectacular fashion. He for me is definitely the standout player from the lower ranked teams.
He's the one who crawled out under the stone.
I would say Focus, but Focus isn't a part of BG anymore. Focus is now on Storm Chasers with some of the best players. He's being recognized as a player whose individual skill, consistency, and effort has seen him through to the top echelons of NASCAR. I think Goro, for me, takes the surprise pick of the evening so far.
Yeah, I completely agree. Very nice to see him top 10.
And Truel, top 4 with 361 points. Wow. This is what, listen, SNC 2022 might not have been his finest tournament. When Truel doesn't care, the performance will suffer, but his talent, undeniable, back from his days on VR with Extreme, with Guns, if you recall, who is unfortunately not playing with us in this tournament. Just an amazing performance. Now, Focus keeping up with Dopamine and Devil, but look at this, just one tiniest line driven less than perfectly. Only very well.
And he goes into the wall, he's out. We see Lucky Shot now in top 3 position, battling with Razorlight. Again, Devil and Dopamine
has just slightly more speed. The final corner, look at this, he just has slightly more speed, and that's enough perfectly. Oh my god.
Oh, that was so close. Oh, I thought Dopa sniped him, didn't you? That was crazy.
No,
he didn't. Oh man. Oh, that
But
was close.
FKX Devil in 7th place.
Yeah, that is worth a highlight there. He is performing
AWS
super
8th,
well.
Kush in 9th, Job in 12th, Dolan in 15th.
Wow.
I mean, just incredible performance from everyone. Exactly what we wanted to see. Not just 5 players, blazing away ahead of everybody else. Everybody delivering competitive rounds. The fight for 10th to 15th place is
wide
a
open.
complete dogfight.
Yeah.
Hundreds of a second separating these players. Incredible players, incredible maps, incredible competition. Exactly what we wanted and what we needed.
Yeah, and also the leaderboard itself, it can scramble up and down. I mean, we see Dopa and Devil here in the place 1 and 2.
Slimo breaking into the top 15. Page
well.
number 1 for Slimo with 386 points. Only 4 points behind Blitz on Power Rangers.
That's crazy.
Spectacular performance. Reagan Hertz rebounding into 20th, only behind Storm in 19th, ahead of Raptor, who is unfortunately down to 22nd place. Mew with a small cosmetic comeback, but he's lost a lot of points to his inconsistency. I don't think he's going to be able to make up a lot of points in the following rounds unless he delivers a spectacular performance. Speaking of spectacular, Kez, right now, from 30th, I think, overall, which is what he is, delivering a number 1 round. Consistency failing him this time.
FKX
But look at how far ahead Kez is.
Yeah.
These small mistakes adding up. And what time is he going to deliver?
Has to be a crazy time.
That is a
1884. Holy shit.
The only reason that's a top 3 time of all time. The only reason why it's not a dead is because Kez already holds 2nd place.
Exactly.
Half a second ahead of 2nd place. 1 second to 12th place.
And where was Dopa here? Big mistake early and we don't see him.
Goro in 5th, Truo in 4th, FKX Devil in 2nd, Reagan Hertz in 10th, Avi 11th, Slimo for Fruits 12th place, continuing an amazing flat map performance from him.
Yeah, really well done by Slimo. Still in the top 16 here, Devil now taking 1st spot on the leaderboard, just in front of Dopa, and also Razorlight knocking on the door, maybe a little bit of a sneaky performance, but still 3rd. In overall points.
Kez rebounded 9 overall positions thanks to this round. He still has a chance at something. This is amazing.
Yeah, he's doing really good. Also Truo there. Place number 4.
Slimo sticks on the 1st page. That is incredible.
Yeah, he's
Devil
doing
from FKX, 10th place. And Devil, the other one from Storm Chasers, actually in a 28-point advantage to the nearest player.
Crazy. That's crazy.
574 points from 600 possible in the first 6 rounds.
That's crazy.
Unfathomable consistency from the Storm Chasers. Devil.
Dopa again. Mistake and he will be gone.
That's going to cost him 40 positions. He is nowhere.
Gone.
Look at this. It's a flat map, but people want to play Kez with a significant mistake.
Mistake and now Devil for FKX leading. Let's go. Let's see if we can finish it out here with Devil for Storm Chasers right behind. This will be... No, he will make the drift. Oh, no.
Devil performance from the 9th Circle of Hell, but only one.
Oh, wow.
We'll see the finish line in a 1:19.20. And Storm Chasers inheriting an incredible haul of points from this round. Angle in 7th place. FKX Devil still saves 16th place, but 0.8 of a second. That one mistake, he just slightly touched the inside Rammstein. 16 places, 0.8 of a second. Zero room for significant errors. Reagan Hertz, 9th place.
Angle, 7th.
Dolan in 11th. Lucky Shot in 12th. Slimo, 13th again.
Slimo. Who is Slimo? He's doing great. Slimo the legend.
Yeah, in 14th place now, tied on points with Storm ahead of Reagan Hertz and Blitzer.
Amazing.
Stop the count. Take a screenshot. This is amazing.
This is great. As we are moving on, Slimo, super consistent performance. Like
this is the final. This is the final round, and Devil from Storm Chasers, 40 points ahead of 2nd place, 60 points almost ahead of 3rd place. This is the kind of performance that dreams are made of.
That's insane. He's doing it.
Just needs 1 round to bring home the largest individual points haul on a map we've seen this evening. Dopamine did 750 on the first map, I believe, but this is on track to beat him very reliably. Ooh, that was risky. almost sliding out but maintaining the pace.
Spider.
Spider, what
Wow.
the hell is this?
Some nitro maybe? What a boost there. He's gonna take it. Dopa and Devil
Oh, but
away.
he missed the line. He
Ooh.
missed the line. And now look at this. The speed just falls away from him. And
Oh.
once you've lost, it's impossible to regain. Now Dopamine, because he's carrying more speed, because he didn't make that small line mistake, he now inherits the lead. Spider, he's risking so much to maintain this first position.
Oh,
He is giving everything.
What a fight here, Spider and Dopa. Who's gonna take it? Spider is pushing it here. And might it be enough?
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Oh, he has
The
more speed than
amount of
Dopa.
risk.
Oh, he doesn't do it. They tie for first place.
The amount of risk that Spider put into this round should have seen him eliminated 6 times. The amount of skill to take that risk and survive is incredible.
Oh, man.
Spider was on pace for a 118 easily. He lost multiple tenths of a second in the second lap.
Wow. Super, super crazy.
That is incredible.
That is insane. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, or okay, you said before this flat map that we were in for something, but holy moly, we've seen something here. And look at the leaderboard, Devil Boy with
761 of 800 possible points. Bow down. This is the strongest individual performance we've seen this evening.
Yep.
Nobody even close. Goro in 6th. FKX Devil, 7th place.
Ah, that's amazing.
Take a screenshot. Take a bow. That is what we were waiting for.
This is an amazing first page, actually, with Slimo in 13th.
Casper with 666 points. Huge performance for FKX
Nice.
Platinum. KWS again continuing an amazing evening with 11th place. Focus for Storm Chasers. Huge performance. Slimo, 13th place. 631 points.
Slimo.
Fruits are gonna be
Wow.
proud of that one, and it might just change their destiny in this tournament.
Wow. That's a crazy
New in
one.
26th, Kez, who won, I think, 2 rounds, 22nd only. Aircroll in 20th, Peony Blue, less than ideal consistency. Mirako only in 31st. He's actually quite decent at flat maps. Kush as well, only 19th.
Raptor is
he
also
did better this
super
evening.
far.
Yeah,
37th.
not this bad time. Lucky Shot in 18th is better and much closer to his actual pace. Tsunami continues an evening to forget with 39th.
And Reagan Hurts crawling into the first page as well, 14th. Maybe got a little bit back off that pace.
Yeah, putting it up. But
Yeah.
as you can see, Power Rangers have, when she is dialed in, then that team has no weaknesses. No weaknesses whatsoever.
Very, very true.
You can argue that some members of maybe Peony Blue or Orange can have some off evenings. Storm Chasers and Power Rangers have definitely stepped it up in terms of consistency. Honestly, if I had to guess, and it's impossible because we aren't keeping track of the point totals between the teams, I wouldn't be surprised if Power Rangers and Storm Chasers were actually top 2 heading into the second event.
Yep. I second that for sure. All right, last map here.
Last map indeed.
Dianthus by Focus, as we see here. What do you think? Some interesting stuff here again.
Yeah, this map is fascinating. Again, this map definitely a lot of room for different lines again. So we've had 2 maps where the emphasis was on perfect execution. I think again this map you have a return to something like the first map where there is a lot more flexibility in how you can approach it. There are a lot of different banking lines which still preserve a roughly identical amount of pace, but I think most importantly of all, this map is just full of risks. To drive this map perfectly, you will risk. You will make contact with the Rammsteins. If you're not trying to risk, you will lose significant amounts of pace. If you, however, do try to make contact with the Rammsteins, well, yeah.
We know what can happen.
We know what can happen, and a lot of players have expressed personal frustrations, like with this map. With the consistency of the game for them this evening, but I think we have had proof up the front of the field that consistency is possible. It just requires an incredible amount of skill, perhaps greater than any other tournament we've seen beforehand. And I think this map is going to be living proof of that. We are back to risking. How much risk do you want to allow yourself to take?
Yeah, that is what this map is going to showcase us indeed. Some super interesting corners. I think especially the long banked one, the left-hander, where you need to touch the Rammstein in order to drive like the perfect line.
And in
Ah,
virtually every single corner, you are going to be trying to take so much room on the road that you will actually be making contact with the outside Rammstein.
yeah,
And everybody knows what that means.
yeah, might see some Lufthansa.
Everybody knows what that means. And it's easy to overshoot. You think you're carrying a lot of speed to a corner, you're just going to collide with the wall because there isn't as much room as you thought. It is something that I'm genuinely fascinated to see. How will people deal with risk? Because again, we've said the entire theme of rounds mode and the evening. Can you take advantage of people at the front of the field making significant errors? And I think this is exactly what's going to be on full showcase here. Risking, taking some advantageous lines, trying to send it, might actually pay off with a huge haul of points.
Yeah, very true. We will see
And
it
I
in a
think already
moment.
this evening, we have seen some players putting up huge point totals. They might try to send it right now. They've already overperformed. If they can deliver a decisive blow here, that might just be the thing which changes the division they're placed in later, which
Yeah.
secures them an advantageous match in the individual matches.
But I guess it would be difficult on this map to go for a point total that we saw Devil do, for example, right? Like the
I would be surprised if I saw a
761,
player doing 760.
just
Or at
because
the
this is
same
so
time,
risky.
I mean, yeah, I would be surprised to see. I think that the level of skill required to maintain perfect consistency on 8 rounds of this map is greatest. I
Yeah.
think no other map requires this much raw skill because if you were being tested on the angle of attack on the last map, this time you're being tested on your decision when to turn in and your cognizance of how much speed you're carrying. Can you adjust in the spur of the moment and how much will that adjustment cost you? I think every single corner you are making your own calculations. Every single corner you are cutting it so uncomfortably close to the Ramsteins. You are basically begging yourself, no, don't stop, release. But if you do, the price will be paid.
Yeah, it will be a high price to pay as you will lose significant amount of
And
points.
also, I think you can straight up just crash the final turn. Like if
Yeah,
you miss the timing on the
yeah,
last turn, you can just straight up hit the wall and then you are done. A respawn on a map like this is a death sentence. It's a death sentence on every one of the maps this evening, but I think here more than all,
yeah. No,
there is no room for error, and yet this map is so enticing. You just want to take the turn with the riskiest possible line. You want to try risking, taking an extra 10 to 15 speed out of the corner because you know it's going to give you a lasting advantage. Because some of these formations, at the end of the lap, you don't really have a chance to gain a lot of speed at the end of the lap. That flat 270 into the looping, into the finish line, there's no speed to be gained here, only to be lost. At the beginning
very
of the
well
lap,
said.
the banked corners, I am very much looking forward to see how players choose to handle it because this is where the difference will be made. So here, first corner, it's just a banked 180, not too much to say here. Also a flat turn, but on the second lap, you're carrying so much speed that a slightly imperfect time, a release is going to cost you time. This banked segment, this is where the lap is decided. I want you to pay close attention to how the players are navigating. Look at the differences that have already opened up between the players in this banked segment. At the end of it all, whatever speed you carried throughout now, this is what you have to work with until the end of the lap. Blitzer, impeccable. But look at the risk he's taking with
Oh,
every corner he makes. There is zero room for error. Look at this. He's going to actually take the outside Rammstein and slide his outer wheels on it. It takes so much precision to aim that right, but if you do, you are gaining huge amounts of time. He leads by almost 0.2 of a second, heading into lap number 2 from Dopamine, who hasn't made any mistake. Blitz has just been risking more.
yeah. Very, very interesting to see Blitzer there, and he's still holding out.
And look at this,
Again,
top 10 already
whoa,
split up by 1 second just
yeah,
because of the
that's
banking.
crazy.
Look at this, Blitzer, slightly less speed out of the bankings, and look at this, he can't make the turn, he has to release. This is what this map is all about. Do you want to risk? Dopamine isn't even taking that much of a risky line, but because Blitzer doesn't have the carried over speed from the beginning, he isn't actually under any significant threat, and Dopamine will see this first round home in a 127.6, which is much further away from Daddy 1 than
Yeah.
any of the last two maps.
Yeah, which is actually, I think, what we expected on a risky map, maybe like this. Also, the difference between the top 10 here, what you said, there's 1 second between Dopa and top 10 Angle. That's
Then
crazy.
Aircrawl top 11 is already another 0.3 of a second behind, which
Yeah.
is crazy. Devil from Storm Chasers, 15th place, 1.4 seconds behind.
Pwah. These are
Raptor
some
with a
big
vintage
differences.
performance winding down the years. I expect him to do very well on this map. Job in a 9th place finish. That is also
Nice.
spectacular.
Yeah,
And this
very
time
well done.
only 10 players putting up top 30 daily times versus like 20 of them. All of these maps require mastery, but this one, you are much more likely to make the safe choice because hey, the Hall of Points is there. Why risk losing 50 points when you can lose 10? And
Yep.
for many players, that's going to be the decision to be made. How much time are you willing to lose? Blitzer, look at this. Just one misjudgment, you're gone. Round's over. You touch the outside Ramstein, it didn't favor you. Spider touches the outside Ramstein, didn't favor him. Tried to carry out 5 speed. He's going to lose way more than 5 speed. He's going to lose way more than 5
Ooh,
positions.
plus
This
torso.
round is as good as over for him.
Yeah. Yeah, we see a lot of mistakes being made here. And jumping forward a bit, Raptor with Goro, Razorlight, and Dopamine in the top 4 now. And like you said, Raptor is really doing well on this map.
This is a map where Raptor can showcase. He was the star of FRT. This is a player with unrivaled raw pace. This is a player with incredible competition pedigree. This is where he's going to show it. He's not going to be as afraid as some of the newer players are. He's not going to be afraid at all. He's going to take it in. Now he hurts the lead, but look at this. Look at this. He releases just a little bit. Just the tiniest amount of less speed he carried over than Devil means he has to release an extra time. And again, two devils fighting.
Oh, it's super close. Let's see. Devil for FKX here with a fight for Devil for Storm Chasers. Wow, what a round.
Dante and Virgil in the finish line. Only 2 players to get a 127 at all.
That is crazy.
This is how much this map takes out of people. You see Blitzer. Blitzer made a mistake. He was actually in the air on lap number 1 and he recovers to finish in 7th place. Avi in 14, Job in 15, Stiko only in 16th, Goro 9th, Urkrol 10th. I think we're back to the top players dominating, but the margins, top 20 is already more than 2 seconds away from top 1.
Yeah, that's really crazy. We didn't see that up until this point, I think.
And
this
again,
is really different.
It's not that the players don't know how to navigate this, but the map is, again, I am so satisfied with the maps for this evening because they test finesse. Everybody has seen this kind of map. It's gonna feel comfy, it's gonna feel intuitive, but it is devilishly hard to deliver an elite level performance on this map, to deliver a time for the ages. Look at this, Devil, tiniest of mistakes, but his line has been ruined. He is half a second plus behind. Now he maintains a decent position, to be sure, but look at this, just the tiniest of things, and look at this, his flow for the entire lap has been virtually ruined.
Nice,
That flow state.
Yeah.
On some maps, a flow state is easy to maintain. You can do 20 laps with perfect consistency. On a map like this, a flow state is impossible to maintain. The level of skill required is so high. I want to applaud Focus for a spectacular map. And you see, even though he mapped it,
yeah,
4th place, but in this particular round, he is only in 16th and 1 second behind. So
the
nothing is a
leaderboard will
guarantee.
be scrambled after this round. I think we see a lot of players dropping down and taking the lead here. Oh, Plasto gonna drift out. He's out. Spider
FKX Devil is
Dopa.
about to put in another huge round.
Let's see who wins this here.
FKX Devil is about to put in another huge round if he doesn't crash the final corner, and he won't, and he's gonna come in 5th place.
5th place, crazy.
Dopa finally, and Spider putting up incredible fight to the finish with a 127.3, which is the finest time we've seen thus far.
Yeah, and Spider with a PB there. 680.
Yeah, these are finally the elite times, but it took us 3 rounds for 2 people to do it.
Yeah.
Last map, you had many people delivering elite level times.
Yeah.
Kanzika, 16th place, R52 for NRT in 17th. Quite well done from them.
Well done.
Devil continuing an incredible performance. Casper delivering an incredible performance. A big step up from him. Casper
in
now
3rd
in overall points, ahead of Raptor, Devil, Stako, Dopamine. Definitely a performance I didn't see coming. Engel rolling back the years along with Raptor, the FRT star duo, now in the top 15. Regenhertz anchoring Power Rangers, who, maybe for their standards it's a little bit worse than usual because Razorlight, I believe, is nowhere to be found so
he's
far.
Out. Yeah, wait, is he even driving? 37th place.
What has happened?
What's
FKX
going
Devil,
on there?
huge mistake, will put a stop to his reign of terror. And you see the frustration in chat also, Knixi saying that, try harding for incredible amounts of hours, but this map doesn't care what you did on the train server. This is the pressure, and you need to perform in it, and you see a lot of players who are capable of putting up that kind of performance. The train server doesn't matter here. The times on the Daddy board, they are baiting you. They're trying to get you to put in that extra risk. You know you want it, but do you have the guts to do it? I'm not sure. Raptor with a significant mistake, and now, Plusterx 0.2 of a second behind. 4th place, Angle, more than half a second behind. 17th place, 1.3 seconds behind. This has collapsed completely.
Oh,
Devil, huge mistake, will lose him 1st place and send him far back.
Who's gonna take it here? I think it's little crash plateau, but he will take it.
127.6, and again, these 127s so hard to come by, and
only 2 players.
The average time is actually a 129, which is crazy when you think about it. 1.5 seconds between 1st and 15th place is not something that you would have expected to see, and 3rd place inherited half a second behind the lead.
That was a crazy round, actually.
Yeah, and when you think about it, Daddy 1 on this map is 126, so the possible versus the realistically achievable on this map is 2.5 seconds.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
Yeah, that is insane. That's crazy.
And when you think about it, this is exactly what you want to see. You know you're capable of this. Like, these players, the very players on the server, have set these times in Daddy. They've all set 127s, 128s, and stuff like that. But doing it now, in this situation, they're not putting up the same times because it's impossible. It requires a lot of things to align your way, and you see people falling behind. Just the smallest of inaccuracies and the banked corners ruin your flow, and suddenly, even though you know how you should take the next corner, you literally don't have the speed to. Then you release again, and the losses just keep compounding.
Just the chain.
And Daddy 1, which is close to perfection, it just seems so unattainable.
Very, very true. Very
and already, look at this, like, Kez, who is putting up a marvelous pace, is already 0.4 of a second behind Daddy 1 at the end of lap 1, even though, again, it's a relatively mistakeless round, so...
Raptor.
I don't see Devil anywhere from Storm Chasers. Nowhere to be seen. I don't see him in the top 17 players. If we look at where he is, does seem to be rebounding now, inherited 16th place, but his flow in the round has been ruined, and he's going to end up about 1 second behind the top time. Goro now falling back, Job now falling back. But there's no speed to be gained at the very end, and I think it might just be Kez that finishes off the round unless he makes a significant mistake. And he does in a 127.4.
And again, only Dopa with a 27, and then there is radio silence. 0.6 seconds between 1 and 3 Blitzer with a 128.04. That is absolutely crazy.
And some players have decided to run circles around the stadium because they have just given up on life, and I can completely understand that.
Yeah, on this map, wow, that's something. Oh, look at that. Razorlight back onto the first page, 364 points. Took him a while. We see Penit there as well for NRT in 15th place.
Spectacular performance.
Look at that.
He's been putting up a consistent but slow pace, and it works out.
He's the Slimo of this map.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Speaking of Slimo, this is the end of the road for his spectacular performance. Only 35th. Ahead of Mew in 36th place and Storm in 40th.
Oh,
what's happened?
What's happened there? That's crazy. Storm in 40th place. Wow.
And a player I want to shout out is Truo in 2nd overall. 448.
Ooh, wow.
He has stepped into some really big shoes for PNE Orange.
Yeah. He's doing very well.
This round, he is slightly behind, but he's still very competitive in 10th place, about 2 to 3/10 of a second behind the lead. But you also see, like, even 3/10 of a second behind, the speed is much different between everybody doing this here. And people are just maintaining their position, right? You're coasting. You're doing these final turns on reflex. Because the place where you actually gain the time is in these banked corners. And now Truo touching the outside Ramstein with his left rear tire. Not going to be able to gain any time. And look at this Penita fighting into the front of the field again.
Easy. Yeah, doing very well.
The track playing through his strengths. Look at this. Navigating these turns without a care in the world. Doing very well for NRT.
He's doing really good.
Job in ninth as well. Dopamine looking to finish, but it's not going to be a deady one time, not even close. That's a 127.5. Respectable, but yeah, 27's hard to come by.
Yeah, I think this is the first time on this map we see 3 players, more than 2, break that 127.
Racer Light with a big recovery. I'm putting it up.
Yeah,
Putting it
he's-
up after a bad start to this one.
Yeah.
Raptor, Extrem, Job, FKX Devil with another great position. Mew with an important 14th place. Limo with 15th. Peneta with 16th.
Interesting.
Casper out of the round.
Yeah, he gave up. Yeah.
And he's
Also
in 36th
Vamos
place.
Vicar.
His consistency that he displayed on the previous map gone with the wind, and only 2 rounds left in this event, in this map, before we tally up the points. And look at this. Dominance, not so much. Dopamine has put up 550 out of 600, but it definitely feels more shaky than it was on any previous map. I just think the rest of the players are not actually taking any significant points off of him, more than it is anything else.
Yeah, and interesting to see Dopa, of course, leading the overall leaderboard now, but Power Rangers with Blitz, Stico, Racerlight in 12th, 13th, and 14th place.
Yeah, this was going to be a relatively weak position for them, with PNE recovering some points, but I think PR's consistency over the evening was still superior to PNE, even if only by a little, and we'll have to see what happens in Time Attack, where I think some of the consistency that Storm Chasers and Power Rangers brought to the table will be nullified. It'll be a battle of pure pace, and I think that's a good position for PNE maybe to strike back with some of their players like Mew, like Extrem, that you know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Angle in 6th
Angle
place.
in 6th, yeah. I also wanted to say that there. Very, very nice.
But he makes a big mistake, just as we mentioned him, which is unfortunate. He's going to lose quite a bit of points. Yeah, FKX Devil again making a small mistake, touching the inside ram, is going to lose a couple of positions. 257er. I think keeping up pretty admirably so far, unless he's made a mistake. Corbo in 11th.
Casper, after giving up last round, I think in top 5 now, with Devil for Storm Chasers winning the round at a 127.34.
Yeah, that 127.3 is online with the best we've seen thus far, and 4 127s is one of the best rounds we've seen thus far, but it doesn't change anything because the top 15, again, up to 1.5 seconds away from the lead of the field, and this map is incredibly unforgiving. I think absolutely no mercy. I think even players that have played quite well have not shown with their peak consistency.
Yeah, we see that in the leaderboard as well. It's a bit more scrambled, it feels like, with players that we saw before.
I mean, yeah, Peneta is still 16th on the leaderboard, and not to detract from his performance, but 522 points is maybe a little bit less than we might have seen on the rest of the night. Yeah. Goro in 30th, Casper in 29th, Storm in 31st. I think many great players are just completely nowhere to be found. Mew in 37th, Tsunami in 34th, Lucky Shot in 42nd place.
Wow, that's crazy. But that means that other players that we didn't really see before are performing very well. I mean, Nino, for example, for FKX Gold in 20th place, Kanzika in 23rd here, Andrew in 24th.
My fear and my concern in this final round as we bring it to a half is not that... Yeah, top teams... I feel like lower teams just lost a lot of points on this particular map, and they didn't really gain anything relative to the top teams. Yeah. Nino with an impressive individual round here, though, might be trying to give his last resort to see if he can bring something big for his team. Still maintains 12th place, but he has lost a little bit of that optimal flow.
Rip.
Dopamine True, Angle and Focus keeping up, but Devil again maintaining that perfection from the start of the map. And even though Dopamine has the superior line in these corners and he's slowly overhauling the lead, there is no way to catch up in the last stage of the map because all of the speed is decided at the beginning. Kanzika in 17th, Goro in 15th currently, and this will be the end of the map.
There we go.
In a 127.4. Again, this time 5 times 127s. Dolan with a very respectable personal best of 127.99.
Nice.
And that will bring an end to the map. Engel secures that 7th place finish. Racerlight comes home in 16th. Regenhertz in 10th. KWS and Kush with a DGF duo in 13th and 14th. A lot of players out, and yeah. I think a lot of players are going to be wishing they delivered more on this map.
Yeah, I guess, but it was a risky map, like you said before. You pointed that out super correctly, and we see that back in the leaderboard here as well. Dopamine taking first place, 744. That is not even that far from the 761 we saw out of Devil last map.
Yeah,
Focus in second.
Dopamine's still the best player of the evening by some margin, but
Yeah. Yeah, but
I think it
behind
hasn't
that,
maybe been. Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, and I think Focus holding down the fort for Storm Chasers, stepping up in a huge way to deliver a large haul of points. I think Storm Chasers as a team
Storm
overall,
Chasers on this map are insane. I mean, look
they
at
can
that. Focus
be.
Devil Raptor.
Yeah, I think Storm Chasers can be very pleased with this particular evening. I
Yeah.
think a lot of teams are going to be pretty happy with the point hauls they made. I think Goro, Lucky Shot, Casper taking turns for FKX Platinum. I think that team is going to collect a decent chunk of points. Extrem job doing a very respectable job along with Truo, who
Yeah.
took on the carry shoes for PNE Orange Penete for NRT. In
He's-
16th place on this map, he's going to definitely be the highlight of their evening.
He did very well.
Yeah, I think saving this map for last definitely was merciless on behalf of the organizers, and I think the low tolerance for error was definitely showcased